Hey, buddy. So we were actually trying to have a nap. We have an early evening nap after the workday and just getting through the day in general. And might be able to hear the background music, but I feel awkward being in this room while he was sleeping. And I did notice he was moving in kind of a weird way. And actually, something really odd happened in kind of in connection to, in a way, a conversation that I had on social media, where basically um, somebody was talking about certain types of entities, and I said, I don't ascertain those or whatever, but sometimes ones that are strangers, I would say that all animals, whether they're of our own loved ones or otherwise, their feelings are suppressed a bit. But I'll close this as much as I don't mind the background noise, and the other door is closed. I'll close it a little bit anyway. But they do still feel them, and there's possibly a little less. It's great when it's not like this, either on earthly realms or otherwise, but or when patience and love and all that stuff is present. But basically, yeah. So um, it is pretty snowy out there, though. We're starting to get snow again. What first happened? I mean, sometimes it really makes most sense to go in sequential order, and I wasn't going to do one. This usually this isn't the time. And actually, that guy, even though I got here like just like 20, 30 minutes before Glenn got home, he really wasn't here very long. He was quick today. And yet it kind of felt like he was just in general, but he was in a pretty good mood and it was going really well. And he had something he had to get to anyway. But must have got they must have left work a bit early because it's like suddenly 5:20. That's usually when we both have a nap. Anyway, basically, what I first heard, well, we both kind of heard the dog making noise. It almost sounded a bit like a yawn as we get a view. I'm just gonna turn this off because I think it needs to be on. I'm surprised he didn't say we're just gonna get up then. But it's true, it hasn't even been an hour. Well, sometimes it isn't, but it's been about 30 minutes. They're like, no, it's been 2:40. No, but since trying to nap, probably started about 5:30, 5:40 at 6:07. Anywho, basically, the dog, and again in this realm, but I'm also just kind of explaining things. Sleep when he has sleep seizures, not super serious these days. Thankfully, meds help in that. But basically, and I do want to make sure that I look back at the one or two from a couple of days ago. The one from today, I totally don't mind sharing any of it with him, but I have previewed about 7 minutes of it again. But I want to look back at those, find the spots, show them. I kind of alluded to the video in the previous one, and then yeah, other things I want to watch. But basically, the dog made this noise. I don't really want to mimic it and be noisy, and I should not have this. It already was a little bit full. This gift card needs to go back downstairs because I didn't realize I had it in this pocket. And then I don't know. I brought it with me yesterday. It's not where I was planning to go. I'd been there recently, and it was very much wanting to check out this new place, and I did. But yeah, this was in my pocket and it was getting crinkled, and I don't think it can do anything other than scan. So, and I can't remember if there was $9 on it or I used 9. Then a drink though, so, but I think it's 15 or 20. Anywho, point of the matter being, so the dog made this noise, and I know dogs can sadly, just like kids, have epilepsy. Ours doesn't, but I wonder if they can come into it. And this was the first time I've experienced anything like this. Usually it's a lot lighter, and actually it wasn't that bad. Basically, now that you follow the YouTube, it's not on the card. Basically, had a customer. Actually, I'm getting a certain sense from. Even today, even just after the customer left, I wasn't quite getting this vibe. But I'm thinking maybe I am. It might have similar feelings developing that. Basically, um, but the dog made this noise. In a way, it sounded like just a loud yawn or whatever. But it like, and I certainly wasn't quite sleeping yet. Then, but it kind of started us both, and then he was kind of slow, and we were calling him. It wasn't great, and they started never said it'll get back to normal. But basically, I very quickly heard, "You think of my loved one in those ways," which I don't think you should, and that person may or may not make what this person would say are smart choices, even though we all learn and have the right to choose. Um, and he certainly is a very contemplative type. But basically, guy says, you think of my loved one like that again, I'll make your dog have a seizure. Yeah. And that was like, whoa. But usually, it's not like that. No, I'm not sure I'm hearing the music again. But I just wanted to, and of course, this all precipitating has me thinking of Marianne a little bit. But I just wanted, sometimes, and it's harder when there's somebody else that you share a bed with. I'm not saying who, but anyway, um, and don't want to be a disturbance, and we don't have two end tables. Although I do have a little bit of a surface to put things on a cushion, um, and it's kind of like sometimes I'm out of thoughts, but I know it's just ruminating, and if I don't get it out somewhere, then it's just I didn't realize that it was just a few in on this time. Then it's just circling, and I'm not getting any sleep. My body symptoms actually, my chest was fairly tight, my sides and my stomach's a little bit agitated, but that actually kind of relaxed a bit. But another thing that I was feeling, and I've been thinking about Ray a little bit lately. I mean, it was still a fairly recent loss for any of us that lost her. But at that particular moment when I was trying to sleep, I'm not sure really why. And this is why it made me think, this could be more of a topic for later, and I should look at research it more. As far as I know, lucid dreaming is when you aren't completely asleep, but you're kind of drifting into sleep, and you're having thoughts. But then are they your own or not? But with this ability, I can tell usually, and I don't feel like I have visitations in sleep very often. It's mostly in wake when it happens, actually, for me. However, it does happen, and maybe the times when it most similarly happens in dreams, other than perhaps just messages. It's like I think I talking about that business owner in my hometown in the other video. It's kind of like that's maybe when I'm experiencing it, and like Grace was saying something about how. Essentially, sorry if I have such strong feelings about the sister disliking me disliking the sister. And I don't. It's just that, and yeah, she wasn't that close with me, and she certainly wasn't as close with me as Ray was. And she was going through grief, and it was just before the funeral. But, not just before, but like a few days before. But it was kind of like, but I get it when I think back about it slightly because of whose number it was. Um, and but whether she'd had the phone or not, I don't know. She may have still said, "I'm not looking." But and it's really sad, and I really hope to still hear from Bobby. But and ironically, come to think of it, the second part of her last name is the partner's first name. I'd slightly be open to texting with him, but I'd have to ask for his number. I don't really want to have to go through the sister. And I can only do here because I wasn't there when that whole thing happened. And I'm worried that it might unfold more. And I also wanted to not get more anxious than I already was, but but I don't know if it was sarcasm or disbelief when you said who memorialized the page. But I did find that to be a little bit weird. Although on the birthday, I believe, I thought so, but then I think I looked and I didn't see it. Um, but I think there has been a post since that sounded like it could have been him, because it almost sounded like something weird had happened with the so I don't want to message it. And pretty much what I was just hearing is a couple of things. It's unfortunate because I knew her, and I feel like she trusts me and my ability. And well, yeah, she's visited a few times, and would want this to be good for us. But he could. I mean, even if he believes, he could feel slightly coerced. Like I'm, you know, first of all, it is pretty fresh, and that may be more the reason that he wants it. May not, but he might be like, I don't know if I really believe that she's saying this, or if it's you. Um, and we can only do our best to sway it or to convince. Um, but there's just no easy way to reach him. And she's like, well, that's fine. If that's what you feel, I'll have another medium talk to him at some point. You know, um, I don't doubt that she will maybe try and help us get business. I hope she does. That would be really lovely. I think with our um, the one thing, not this. Um, I noticed 2 or 3 times already in in the month where she I feel has been a part of that. And that's great. I'm appreciative. But yeah, she's kind of like she's also kind of saying to me, but if I'm doing it on here, I mean, I'd really rather be doing it as sessions. If I'm doing it on here, um, then that's how it would have to transpire, as opposed to one-on-one. Which, yeah, it's like harder to bring it into that form off of YouTube, unless you know the person somewhere else. Um, but she's kind of saying, yeah, I'd rather you not talk about my family too much. And I will do my best to respect that. I get it. She's like, I know you're not saying anything bad about them, and I know you just like to verbalize your thoughts and you like to make videos and stuff. But and she says also, am I sad that I may not form a connection with her family? Is she sad? She thinks it would have been nice, but she says, you know, she's not going to force me. I shouldn't force myself if it doesn't feel right. Um, and it was a very small statement that the sister had made, but it has stuck with me. Um, and I don't quite feel like she was just distracted and overwhelmed at the funeral. I don't quite feel like her saying, it's fine, I'm just at work. Uh, Maybe because it didn't really say a lot. I don't really feel like it was, and it certainly wasn't an apologies for calling me rude, or in her perception of. Um, he seemed lovely, um, very nice, seemed like a believer as well, somewhat. Um, and she says, yeah, both. Um, but yeah, so those little mini visitations were kind of coming to my mind. Um, I don't feel like she's here now. I'm just sharing what transpired. Um, I really would like to try and get a bit more of a nap. I'm thinking sometimes we do till later 7. I'm not even sure I'm still hearing the music over there. Sometimes we do till pretty close to 7. It's just 20 after 6. I feel like they'd kind of let me now. So I don't know. But I do actually feel better just having laid down for a little bit. And next to my routine is and then a little while dinner. And I'm looking for, and I want to watch some videos. And then I want to watch video. We talk plenty. And then, yeah, I want to preview that other thing. And, you know, other things to see. And that I don't want to have, I don't know if I should have some oil in that bread. Kind of a trigger me in place and stuff. But that's almost kind of came up slightly earlier today. But bread, cupcakes, pasta. grain bread. And that's the thing, I might be eating a little bit healthier and not feeling any better, or maybe feeling worse. My body would be adjusting to it. I'm still eating a lot of carbs, and it's just I'm picky, and it's the easiest thing to eat. But my body's just adjusting to it, and it's not going to change in a day. You know. Um, so we have somebody just tuned in. Welcome. Um, I actually you left, so I'm not even gonna. Okay, so I think we'll keep this one nice and short.